of the reasons my faith in Islam is so high is because you can't disprove that the Quran is from God.
Yes, you actually can. There are so many examples in the Quran of mistakes and errors which clearly show that it's not the word of God.
Numerical miracles, the historical predictions, the scientific miracles inside of it. There's too many to name. That this is must have been from a divine source. A man couldn't have written it.
First of all, there are no numerical miracles in the Quran. No one should take that seriously. Let's actually talk about the historical problems. Because the Quran has historical blunders all over the place. One of the most famous ones is the Quran in Surah 4:157 says that Jesus was never crucified, which historically speaking is just blatantly false. It's inaccurate. The Quran gets this wrong. Another example is Surah 9:30, where the Quran says that Jews view Ezra as the son of God. That's just historically inaccurate. There's no evidence anywhere that supports this claim from the Quran. Another example is in Surah 2085, where Moses has an interaction with a Samaritan. The historical problem is that Samaritans wouldn't exist for another several hundred years. This is a blunder by the Quran, and even if you go on Quran.com, you look in the footnote, Samari is literally the man from Samaria. This is a historical mistake in the Quran. Even internally speaking, there's a challenge from the Quran in several verses. Here's an example in Surah 10:38 with the idea that no one can produce anything like the Quran because it's directly from God. The funny thing is scholars have noted how unintelligible the Quran actually is. This is Gerd Puen, he's a German expert on Quranic manuscripts. He says the Quran claims for itself that it is clear, but if you look at it, you will notice that every fifth sentence or so doesn't make any sense. Many Muslims or Orientalists will tell you otherwise, of course, but the fact is that a fifth of the Quranic text is just incomprehensible. And even when you read the Quran itself, I'm actually using this example in 1038. Well, you'll see all over the place is bracketed words. There on the second line, you can see, "O Prophet" is bracketed because that's not actually there in the text. But they have to add in words all of the time to make the text actually make sense. This is obviously something no one would have to do if the words were really produced by God. And lastly, he mentions scientific miracles, that of which also do not exist in the Quran, but there are plenty of blunders. An example would be Surah 86:6 and 7, where once again it's bracketed, right? They were created from a spurting fluid stemming from between the backbone and the rib cage. Now, whether you take the classic Muslim approach, they had this idea that there was actually a sperm that came from the man and the woman, and they came together, and that's how the child was made, or a modern interpretation where it's all coming from the man, because we obviously know that the ancient idea is not how babies work. They're both wrong, because there is no spurting fluid that is coming from anywhere near the rib cage in the human reproductive system in order to reproduce a child. And so ultimately, the Quran has mistakes all over the place and proves itself to not be from God.